in this session, we will go over 1.06 quiz questions. If you are here, you haven't taken the quiz yet, it will be a great idea for you to open up 1.06 quiz, subtract rational numbers. This quiz was due yesterday. Let's go ahead and get started. I do have a link to the Nearpod. If you want to join, go ahead and join and practice the questions along. I'm going to see your work and give you feedback. This is how question 1 looked like in 1.06 quiz. Okay, this is how question 1 looked like. Deja, thank you. It gave you a question. It said negative 1 whole 1/3 minus 1/6. It did give you a number line, and so you can solve. Andromeda, thank you. Welcome to class.
Wait, before we start, can I can I get the Nearpod link?
Yes, the link is in the chat. EJ, I will also go ahead and send you in the private chat in case you can't see. Please follow some directions in my chat. It would be so great if you will follow those. Right here are the links to Nearpod. EJ has been helping. I also went in and shared with EJ. I'm going to go share in the question and answer chat also, just in case somebody can find it anywhere else. They can get it from there. Okay, this is question 1. Subtract using number lines. We have negative 1 or 1/3 minus 1/6. If you remember, you joined the last tutorial session, we were looking at number lines and learning how to read it. It is important that we know how to read it. So I will ask you.
Somebody told me that this class is optional. I mean, not optional. Is it required?
No.
Okay, thank you. Someone said in the other class, she said that we have to be in here.
When you join this class, it says optional, right? In the naming
Yeah.
convention.
Yeah, she did say that.
You did say? Thank you for letting me know. So it's an optional class. It is also a recorded class. If anybody would also want to review what we went over in this class, you can also watch recordings. I want you guys to think about, if you are reading this and it tells you so nicely
Bye,
that
miss. Have a good day.
you too, dear. So you know that each hop is 1/6, right? Each hop is 1/6. And this particular fraction goes by 6, and it will be easy for us to handle it because the number line goes by 6, right? 1/6, and then the next is going to be the 2/6, right? And 3/6, 4/6, 5/6, and these are just simplified fractions, and then 1 whole. So this second fraction, 1/6, is a good fraction for us to use on the number line. The thing is, the first fraction does not go by sixths right now. Can someone help me so I can change it to sixths and make myself, do the question much more easier? Can you guys help me change this one to sixths? Or do you guys think we don't even need to change it to sixths? Let me know anything that you guys feel we should do. Grace says if you did times by 2, it will change to 6. Grace, very good. I agree to you. So the second fraction needs a little bit of update. And even before I did the update, and Media, thank you for letting me know. Even before I did change the first number, Serenity, dear, follow the chat. See what some instructions Messiah had put in there for you. Even before I change this to 6, can I find this number on the number line? People, go find this number and put a dot by this number. Put a dot where you see 1 whole negative 1 whole 1/3. Put a dot on the number line to represent negative 1 whole 1/3. Very good. I see here this is Jaylee working it out. I see Kayla. I see Lily working it out. Well, Janae, I see you working it out. I'm going to go on my number line. First, think. It is a negative number. I'm going to be on the left side of 0. Over here is my negative 1. Over here. is my negative 1. Do you all see a negative 1, right? My negative 1 whole and 1/3 is over here, right? London, dear, hop on the mic. Let me know what is your good question. London, hop on the mic. Let me know what is your good question. No question? Yeah. Horia, do you have a question, dear? Okay, we will go ahead and continue. Okay. So we have this negative 1 whole 1/3. We want to subtract 1/6, right? We want to subtract 1/6. We also know how to read the number line. How many jumps should I make so that I can subtract 1/6? Also, I saw in one of your Nearpod slides, you guys are telling me, Miss Syed, whenever we subtract, we should go to the left side because subtraction makes the number smaller. So in this question, when we subtract, remember the jump is going to take you more to the left side. You just want to subtract 1/6. So how many hops should you make? Grace, very good. Grace says 1 hop. Huria says 1 hop. Let's see. Christian says 1 hop. Let's make that 1 hop. So I hop just 1. Do you think this is going to be my final answer? Yes, Rajane and Raw Media, excellent. This is going to be your answer. Negative 1 whole 1/2. That is going to be your answer. I really did not even have to change the numerators because the number line came very handy. Any questions? London, remember you could definitely, if you have a question, post in the chat, in the question answer chat, and I am going to be able to help you. Let's go ahead and look at the second version of question 1. If you did not have this one for question 1, probably your question 1 might look like this one. There are 3 varieties for each question. We will go over each and every variety, right? So at this time, I do encourage you to open up the quiz and try to understand the questions and do a lot better and get help from your classmates and myself. Grace here says adding. Very good, Grace. Very good, Grace. In this question, look carefully. It says negative 2/3 minus negative 1 whole 1/3. Whenever you have 2 minus signs back on back, whether it is a minus sign or a negative sign, they are used interchangeably in math. In this case, I see 2 minus signs or 2 negative signs or a minus and a negative sign back on back, right? They're back on back. That means you can change them to a plus sign. So now I will go ahead and rewrite the question so that it can make more sense. Or in fact, I will go ahead and use a white pen and rewrite the question. It'll save even more time, right? If you want, you can also use a white pen and write out the actual question and rewrite it with a plus sign because it had 2 minus signs back on back. 2 minus signs back on back makes a plus sign. See, I'm just going to clean it out with a white pen, and you can also white it out on yours and put a plus sign. And this is going to be a red color because it was not part of the actual question. We concluded that we want to be adding. Journey, this is a math tutorial class. If anybody needs help with 1.06 quiz, you may stay. This is also a recorded session. Anybody who misses the session can also go ahead and watch recordings. Fatma, I'm gonna note your name. Fatma, I'm gonna go ahead and note your name, and we will reach out and help you. Okay, but that won't be right now, but we will help you out with the time zone. So let's go ahead and first see, do we know how to read the number line? Let's see. If I'm gonna start at 0 and just jump 1, this one jump represents how much? It is important. You know how much each jump represents. In this case, each jump represents how much? 1/3. Lily, good. One jump represents 1/3. We want to start with -2/3. We want to start with a number that is -2/3. -2/3 is towards the left of the 0. So go ahead, put a dot by -2/3. So we know where the -2/3 is. We want to start from -2/3. Put a dot by -2/3. Everybody. We want to use number lines to solve these questions. So Christian, good. Put a dot by -2/3. And very good, Bentley, very good. -2/3. Surya, very good. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna go put a dot by my -2/3. So -2/3 is over here. The first one is -1/3 and then it's -2/3 right here. Then you want to add 1 whole and 1/3. You want to add 1 whole and 1/3. Before I do the entire thing, you guys know I want to go step by step. I want to add the 1 first, just the 1. And whenever you want to add, you are going to be moving to the right side for adding because the number is supposed to get bigger. And you want to add 1 whole 1/3. First, let's add the 1. To add the 1 whole, I'm going to make a jump, right? How many jumps will make good Christian? Because the numbers go in thirds. You see how many jumps does it take to get to 1? It takes 3 jumps. If I make the 3 jumps, I am adding 1, right? And then I need to add 1/3 more. So I need that 1 little hop more to get to the final answer, right? So this was adding the 1 whole and this was adding 1/3. Altogether, I was able to add 1 whole 1/3 to the number I started from, right? My answer becomes 2/3. My answer is going to be 2/3. I am going to pause. Are there questions? Let me know. We should actually add, Grace, in this case because the original question had 2 negatives back on back. Anytime in math you have 2 negatives back on back, they will create a plus sign, right? And this is just one easy way to handle the 2 negatives back on back. Now, this is question 1, the third variety. If you opened up the quiz and your question 1 did not match yours so far, this is how your question 1 looks like. Notice this one also have 2 negatives back on back. Grace, right? This one also has 2 negatives back on back. It has -1/3, then minus -1/2. So what we can do whenever we have 2 negatives back on back, we can simply make it into a plus sign and then solve the question. We can make it into a plus sign and then solve the question. Now we have here -1/3 plus 1/2. It is also important that we understand how to read the number line. Let's go and see. what does one jump represent here? In this case, one jump represents 1/6. Very good, Huria, Grace. Everybody agrees? Anybody in confusion how much a jump represents here? So 1/2 is representing 1/6. You all need to know. The thing is, these two fractions right now are not in sixths, but let's see if we can still handle it, right? Can you guys mark negative 1/3 on the number line? Go find and mark it. Let me see on your slides. Go mark negative 1/3. And raw media, very good. Grace, very good. Mark negative 1/3. This is where we start. Grace, good. Huria, good. Genevieve, very good. Kaden, very good. Caitlin, excellent. Lily, Madison, everybody could mark it. That was good. I'm going to go ahead, mark negative 1/3. Remember, it's a negative number on the left side. Here is negative 1/3. Remember, when you are adding, you are moving to the right because the number is supposed to get bigger. I want to add a half. But because the number line is going to go in 6, right? Or each jump represents 1/6, I want to see how much is a half in terms of 6. So I want to make it a denominator of 6. Let's see how we can do that. Because the number line goes in terms of 6, we want to make the half into 6. So I'm going to write down a half. I want to change this into 6 so that I can know how many jumps I need in this particular problem. What am I multiplying this fraction by? What am I multiplying the 1/2 by? Kristen, good. Grace, very good. I am actually multiplying it by 3. Right? And that's how I end up getting the 6. So therefore, it is going to be 3/6. So I know that I have negative 1/3 plus 3/6. Right? Let me see if I can write any better. My Nearpod is a little laggy, and that's why my handwriting does not seem to be the way I'm actually trying to write. It's giving me a little hard time. This is going to be 3/6 as the new fraction. I completely overwrote, so nobody's confused. How many jumps should I make? I start with negative 1/3. How many jumps should I make? Because I want to add 3/6. Very good. I should make 3 jumps. Let's go ahead and do that. When we make those 3 jumps, we will get to the answer. 1, 2, 3. This is a final answer over here. So we can say when we add the 2 fractions, we should get an answer that is going to be 1/6. I see here, EJ, you have a question. EJ, let me know, what is your good question?
I was gonna say how many jumps it was gonna take.
Oh, I missed that. But you will help me in the next question. Let's go ahead, move on to question 2. Are there any questions so far? It felt like question 1 was the one that took a little bit more time because it's kind of an understanding question, and not everybody might be so well versed with number lines, but this is one of the different ways we could be handling fractions. Okay, question 2 might not be so complicated for most. Let's see. -3 minus -7. This is question 2, first variety. Some of you might have this one as your question 2. -3 minus -7. You guys are unmuted. In fact, so not unmuted, but in fact, you have options to now use your mic because I took away that restriction. Tell me, what is the first thing I would do when I see a question that looks like this? Oh, very
You change
nice.
it to a plus sign.
Very good, Rajane. Excellent. Go ahead, change it to a plus sign.
It's 4. It's positive 4.
Now the answer is going to be positive 4. Deisha? I will say now it is negative 3 plus 7, right? And you guys want to say the answer is going to be now positive 4? Anybody has any questions? How we got a positive 4? No questions? We start with negative 3 over here, right? And then we want to jump 7 units. We want to jump 7 units. So if I'm going to jump 7 units, I get here. And yes, the answer is going to be positive 4. Okay. Let's go ahead and move on to the second variety of question 2. And again, it has to do with subtracting and subtracting a negative number. What is the first thing I will do here?
You add.
Negative. We will add. Very good. We will add. So let's see how we can just rewrite the question. We will say now, we can say negative 1 plus 8. Because it has a minus negative 8. Minus negative 8 is the same as plus 8. We start from negative 1 over here and then add 8. How much do you guys think it should be, Deja? Very good. So many of you guys already have a question. Excellent. You guys already have the answers. You guys are going very fast. And you add 8. You will get an answer that is going to be 7. Is anybody confused? Does anybody have any questions? Lonnie, you want to try to keep yourselves muted because there's some background noises that we all can hear. No questions. Let's move to the third variety of question 2. That's the third variety of question 2. If you didn't see your particular question 2 so far, here it is. Right? And it says 12 minus negative 5. 12 minus negative 5. I will rewrite the question.
You need to add a add sign.
Yes, that's your name.
It will be positive
Bella.
17.
Very good, Dacia.
I agree.
Very good. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Well, I can.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, again.
Okay,
Okay.
my camera just turned off, but you guys can all hear me. So we decided that we want to make it a plus sign, and then 12 plus 5 is simply 17 with no complications because there were 2 negative signs back on back. I am going to go ahead and mute the class. Seems like some of us are unmuted and not even aware of. Let's go ahead and move on to question 3. This is the first variety of question 3. Question 3 is not a very complicated question, follows kind of similar trend. This is the first variety. You have negative 1 minus negative 6. Right? What should you do? What should you do about the 2 negatives, minus and a negative 6? Caden will help me. Caden, what do you want to say?
The answer is positive 5.
Very good. You make it a plus sign. Right? So you have a negative 1. That is where you start. Then you add 6. Caden says when you add 6, you should get an answer that is going to be 5. Let's go ahead and move on to the second variety of question 3. Here we have the second variety of question 3. And this question says negative 4 minus 8. Now there are no two negative signs. Think about it, people. Think about it. How will you handle it? One little reminder, whenever you want to subtract, you should go to left side. This is how you subtract. Use the number line. See how much the answer should be. I agree. Grace, good. Makai, I agree. Very good. You start from -4, and here we have our -4. Here is -4. You want to go 8 units to the left. Let's do that. 8 units to the left, and that takes you to an answer that is going to be -12. This is going to be the answer, -12. Okay. It did not let me write. Let me see. Does it let me erase? Okay, it did let me erase. Now grab the pen. See if I can write down a -12. It did. Okay. Andre, why did we start at 4 if the 8's in the parentheses? We start with the first number, Andre. We are just doing -4 minus 8. We are doing -4 minus 8, right? So we start from -4 and subtract 8. They put the 8 in parentheses to show that 8 is a positive number. And there is no negative sign by 8. It is subtraction. This is question 4, first variety. First variety of question 4. Oh, we are still on question 3. I forgot. There's probably just one more part of question 3. 7 minus -1. How will we rewrite this problem? Bella, I see your hand is raised. How can we help you?
You change the negative signs to the positives, and the answer is +8.
Very good, Bella. Because there were 2 negatives back on back, we will just change the sign and make it a plus. So 7 plus 1 is going to be 8. So I am thinking some of you actually ended up getting some very easy questions on this quiz, and that was an easy grade for you, right? Some of the questions have been just a little bit more easier. Grace, I see your hand is raised. How do I help you? Feel free to type in the chat or hop on the mic. Huria says the quiz was easy. So now we're supposed to be on question 4. This is first variety of question 4. And it says -0.25 minus -0.5. Oh, 2 negatives back on back. You're going to make it a plus sign. Very good, Huria.
0.75
Yeah.
negative.
Okay. Let's see. I am going to rewrite this question. The positive number was 0.50 because it was a plus sign, and then there is a -0.25. If you want, you can also rewrite the question like this to make a better sense out of it. Because when we change the 2 negatives to a plus, now a 0.5 is a positive, and then there's a negative sign by 0.25. If you want, and that makes sense, you can also rewrite like this. This is another way to rewrite it if somebody wants to solve it this way. Let's see, I am going to go ahead and put this number, -0.25 on the number line, and it is over here. How many jumps do I make if I want to add 0.5? For adding 0.5, how many jumps should I make? Think about it. Let me know. I want to add 0.5. I should make 2 jumps because each jump is about 0.25 and then another 0.25 because I wanted to add 0.50. My answer is going to be positive 0.25. Why did I make 2 jumps? That is a good question. Notice that each jump is 0.25 big, right? So how many jumps do you need for 0.50? So 0.5 basically also represents 0.50, right? I can say 0.5 is the same as 0.50 or 50 cents. And for 0.50, I had to make 2 jumps. Any questions? Oh yeah, I am happy to hear that. Let's go ahead and move on to the next question. This is another variety of question 4. If your question 4 did not match ours, probably it will looks like this one. Here it says 2.25 minus negative 0.25. What should I do? Regine, you have no idea how happy I'm to hear that. Amani, feel free to hop on the mic, dear. Grace, I agree to you. Deja, I agree to you. Huria, I agree to you. Excellent. You guys are telling me that there are 2 negatives, so make it a positive and just simply add. And I'm going to add using number line. This is 2.25. How many jumps should I make to add 0.25? 1 jump only is needed. Let's go ahead and do that 1 jump because the number line reads by 0.25. So that 1 jump gets you here. The answer is definitely going to be 2.5. Right? And remember, this 2.5 means 2.50. It is the same. 2.50 and 2.5 are same numbers. Right? Just that they didn't want it to put a 0. Let's go ahead and move on. Look at the third variety of question 4. Here we have the third variety of question 4. And it is a very simple one. I cannot believe they gave you some very simple questions. 7.4 minus 0.2. Everybody give it a try. Very good, very good. I agree to you, Grace. I agree to you, Deja. Very good. Very simple one, right? Amani, very good. Without number line, without doing any math, I mean, just looking at it, you guys probably know. Subtraction question, we start with 7.4 and 7.4 is over here. You want to subtract 0.2. When you want to subtract 0.2, you are going to make 2 hops. Remember, subtraction means moving to the left direction. And you got to make 2 hops. 1 and 2. And this is your answer. Anybody has any confusion, any questions? Very good, Rajane. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to question 5. Question 5 has to do with fractions. A little bit more practice with fractions. And if you think you struggle with fractions, you definitely should pay attention so you can learn better. So this question in your online school quiz was open-ended. It did not give you any choices for answers. And you were, oh, okay, here I already received chat messages requesting me to make it a plus sign. We will go ahead and do that because there are 2 negatives. So 2 negatives altogether is a plus sign. Yeah. So we want to do 1 whole 2/5 plus 3/5. What I can do is I'll just do 1 2/5. See if that makes sense. Plus 3/5. And I will use some parentheses so I can make it into a little step. I will add the fractions together. Then I will add the 1 to it. Okay? This is what's going to be going on in my mind. Very good, Christian. Christian says, then how does that look? Very good, Christian. I agree to you. Then how, if I do the parentheses part, Christian says that looks like 5 out of 5, 5 over 5. That is a complete, right? If even that's a great 5 out of 5 is a nice good 100% or a 1 whole. Then there's also a 1 over here, the black one, bring down. So 5 over 5 also means 1 whole, right? 5 over 5 means 1 whole. So this means 1 full, 1 whole. So now if you did 1 plus 1, you get 2. And I see, Grace, you have your hand raised. Dear, feel free to hop on the mic. Let me know how we can help you.
I was going to say the answer was 2.
Oh, I didn't see it on time. Let's go ahead and move on to the next question. This is the second variety of question 5. Negative 3/8 minus 7/8. Right? Absolutely, Caden. Absolutely. Negative 3 whole 3/8 minus 7/8. How do we want to approach this question? Rajane,
You have to add it together.
you will combine the two. Very good. Annalie.
I was gonna say add 2.
Yeah, very good. I will actually be adding the two fractions and keep the negative sign because it's a negative number, and when you subtract further, you're going more towards the negative sign, right? I will combine the two, but I will remember to keep a negative sign. So let's see. It is also going to be easy for you guys if you want to make it an improper fraction. Multiply 3 times 8, 24, right? 3 times 8, 24. And then plus 3, 24, and then plus 3, that gives you how much? 27, right? 27/8. And the other fraction is 7/8. You guys are saying we want to combine them, we want to add them, right? Because there's a negative fraction being added to, there is a negative fraction and there's a subtraction sign. You want to think about combining the two. So basically, yes, we are thinking about adding, combining them and keeping that negative sign. So 27 plus 7 gives you 35. Am I right or am I not right? No, it gives you 32. Am I right? Am I not right? Let me know. Am I doing the math right? So this was 24. 24 plus this 27. And this is 3 and 4, 34. I get 34/8. Anybody, let me know. I'm speaking as I'm writing. I might be doing some calculation errors that I might not intend to do. 34/8 is what I get. Is that true? No error, Surya. Thank you. Okay. And remember, because we are handling some negative numbers, there was something to do with a negative sign we should keep in our back mind, right? There has to do something with a negative sign that we're keeping in our back mind. So this has to be a negative 34/8, right? Because we are handling negative numbers, negative 3 whole 3/8, and then we're subtracting further to get a higher negative number. So this is negative 34/38. Think about how many 8s will go into 34. Grace, you will help me here.
I wanted to tell you that your screen is frozen, and also I think you have to divide.
Very good. Is my screen frozen? Do you guys see negative 34/8 on my screen?
Yes.
Lonnie, absolutely. Help yourself. Then, yes, we will divide to get the answer. How many 8s go into negative 30? How many 8s go into 34? How many 8s go into 34?
4.
4. Very good. Because 4 8s actually make 32, right? So that means now I have a remainder of 2 when I did the 4 wholes. The 2 remainder goes here with a denominator of 8. Remember, all this got to be a negative number. I'm not sure if your quiz is going to accept this answer. I am not sure. From my understanding, the quiz accepts some simplified fractions. So if I simplify this fraction part further, how will that look like? People, go ahead, simplify this further. Let me know how that will look like. Very good, Lily. It will look like it will have a whole number that is -4, and the fraction will be 1/4. How? You are thinking about dividing the 2 and the 8 by 2. That is how it becomes 1/4. And this then should be your final answer. Any questions? One more part of question 5 we will do, and here it is. Subtract -9 whole 1/3 minus -1 whole 1/3. Grace, very good. Annalie, very good. Let's see, Lonnie. Lonnie, hop on the mic, dear. Regine.
You have to add them?
Yes. I gotta add them. If you think the Nero is not working well, you can also refresh your screen and hopefully it should resolve a lot of the problems. Okay, Lonnie, if you will refresh it, hopefully it will get a lot better. Now I have -1/3 plus 1 whole 1/3. In my mind, should I add the 2 or should I subtract the 2? Amani.
I'm sorry, it's an accident when I put my hand
No
up.
problem, dear. I'm gonna give you a
It's an
rule.
accident when I put my hand up, sorry.
I received your message, Amani. No problem, dear. Okay. I will just be like general. I will say numbers with different signs are being added, right? When numbers with different signs are being added, I will subtract. When I am adding numbers with different signs, I will actually subtract. Right? Okay, I'm going to subtract 9 whole 1/3 and the 1 whole 1/3. The final answer in this case, will that be positive or negative? Final answer will be negative. Why will that be negative? Because the negative number is greater, right? Very good, Madison. Excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract, and I'm going to use the strategy that I previously used. I know my rule is I'm going to subtract. Why? My -9 1/3 is negative. My 1 whole 1/3 is now positive. So I got to subtract. Look at my strategy. I do 9 wholes minus the whole number 1. And then, or does that make sense to you guys? I'm trying to subtract the whole number by the whole number over here. See, the whole number is 9. And then the whole number here is 1. You subtract. Then you can also subtract the fraction from the fraction. The fraction here is 1/3. And you are subtracting a 1/3. So I subtract fraction from the fraction and the number from the number, right? So notice 1/3 minus 1/3 disappears and becomes a 0. 9 minus 1 becomes a 8. And ultimately you have 9 plus 8 plus 0, and the answer should be 8. Right? Does that make sense or doesn't make sense? So the answer is supposed to be 8. It makes sense. And just in case if it didn't, we should also take care of those who might have a little hard time understanding the weird understanding behind how we subtracted. We can do just put some steps for them also. We'll say 9 whole 1/3 minus 1 whole 1/3. So 9 minus 1 gave us 8. Then the 1/3 minus this 1/3 disappeared, right? So 1/3 just disappeared because they're subtracting from one another. It's going to be 8. We also decided that the final answer will be negative. So we put a negative sign. Why? Because if you ignore the signs, the negative number was much greater. Therefore, the answer is supposed to be a negative answer. Are there any questions? Remember, all this comes with a lot of practice. If you keep practicing over and over, you will get a lot better. I have allowed you a lot more attempts on the quiz. If you think you got good grade by chance, go practice the other and utilize the other attempts and get better at it. If you are good at all these skills, you should be so successful with your math class. If there are questions, let us know. If there are no more questions, we end the session here. The goal of the session was to go over the quiz, and we accomplished that before time. The rest of the time, you get back in your day to enjoy, to complete more of the online assignments that you have. Make sure you complete all graded quizzes that were due for this week, right? All teachers, not only me, we are required by the school admin to enter in grades on Friday. Anything that was due and is graded, make sure you complete it by today, because starting tomorrow you will see teachers enter in zeros. That is the worst part of our job, but we got to do what we got to do to remind you that you got to complete some work. And if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email or a text message. I'm more than happy to help. Right? Enjoy your day. I will go over net worth. No worries. I will go over net worth tomorrow. Anybody who joins, we have a request from a student on the spot to go over net worth, and I will do so tomorrow in the pod office hours. In my breakout room, I'm going to go over net worth. There will be a recording and it will be published in a couple of hours, right? And I'm going to share it with you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day, people. Goodbye.